Hey there, this is Chris from IELTSadvantage.com. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. So earlier on today on our Facebook page, we asked everybody what their favorite TV shows were and how they used TV shows to help them improve their English. The number one show seemed to be Game of Thrones, so check that one out. But what we're going to look at today is how TV shows and movies, if you prefer movies, can help us improve our English. So number one, they are enjoyable. Alright, so I help people with their IELTS test. I help people get 7 or above on their IELTS test, and most people think that in order to get a high score in your IELTS test, you just have to listen to lots of boring academic things and just do IELTS listening tests over and over and over again. If something is boring, you're far less likely to learn anything from it, and you're even less likely to do it consistently. Most people just give up if something is really boring and they don't enjoy it. However, if you really enjoy something, so whatever your favorite TV show or your favorite genre of movies is, if you're consuming English and listening actively, which we're going to be looking at in a moment, you're far more likely to learn something and to consistently do it. And consistently reading, listening, speaking, writing in English is really the key to improving your general level of English and then getting those IELTS scores that you need. Second, movies, TV shows are full of natural English. So when you're first learning English, it is very, very stale, it's very boring. You are not using English in the same way that native English speakers would use. However, if you're looking at lots of TV shows, movies, normally it is full of natural English. It is full of phrasal verbs and idiomatic language and idioms and colloquialisms and slang and all of those things. If you want to be a high-level English learner, those are the things that you need to do. You need to use that sort of idiomatic natural English, and it's really going to help you, and it's really going to help you stand out from everybody else that is learning English and is doing the IELTS test, if you can use that natural English and understand it. And it's really going to help you if you decide to move to an English-speaking country, because most English speakers, whether it is socially or on the job, they use natural English. They do not use formal academic English when they're speaking. Also, active listening. So the rest of this video is going to be to show you how you can use active listening to improve your pronunciation, your vocabulary, your listening skills, absolutely everything you need. So the difference between active listening and passive listening is how most people watch TV shows. So they just sit back and listen, alright? They sit back and watch the TV show and don't do a lot of thinking. However, if you want to really maximize your time and improve your English, when you're watching your TV shows, you have to do a little bit of work, and we're going to talk about that now. So first, you can improve your pronunciation, alright? So you're going to be listening to a lot of natural pronunciation, so you are able to understand natural pronunciation and also improve your own pronunciation. So some examples of this are connected speech. Alright, so when native English speakers are talking, they do not say like, "How are you? I am fine." Alright, they do not say each word individually like that. So they're not going to say to you, "How is it going?" Alright, so when they'll be learning English, your English teacher might speak to you like that, the recordings you're listening to might sound like that. Native English speakers do not sound like that. And on the IELTS test, people are not going to speak like that. So instead of "How is it going?", the sounds going to connect up together. How's it going? Alright, so how's it? How's it? Instead of how is it? Alright, so you're going to have to get used to that fact. So if you want to use active listening to learn connected speech, what you can do is, if there is a sentence or two sentences in the TV show that you're watching that you don't really understand, pause it, listen back, listen to it 2, 3 times, 4 or 5 times if need be. Try and write down the individual words of that sentence, and you will see how the speaker has connected up the sounds together. Now, if you do that regularly, so say you did that for, even just 5 minutes a day, you are really going to improve both your recognition of connected speech and producing connected speech. So when you write that sentence down and you recognize it, try to mimic what the person just said. Second thing, weak sounds, alright? So weak sounds is when we take a vowel sound that is strong and we turn it into a weak sound, sound. So maybe you would think that this sounds like, do you want to go? Native English speakers are not going to say, do you want to go? So we're changing the oo here to d, oo, you, ya, to, ta. Do you want to go? Alright, so do you want to go? Instead of do you want to go, do you want to go? That's how a lot of native English speakers are going to sound, because we're lazy, alright? So we don't say the oo, we say So the schwa sound is the most common sound in the English language and is one of those weak sounds. So being able to recognize this and being able to produce this is going to help you understand natural English, help you understand native English speakers, and it's also going to help you sound a lot more natural. Third thing, intonation. Our voices naturally go up and down or flat. So what is intonation? Intonation allows English speakers and in many other languages to express meaning. So you could have one word and the intonation could be different and it completely changes the meaning of that word. So let me show you. So if I come home, say I've been out having a few beers and I come home late, my wife is waiting for me and I'm sensing that she might not be too happy with me. And I say, are you okay? If she says, I'm okay. Alright, so notice that intonation, or I'm okay. So I'm okay versus I'm okay. So the intonation is completely different, and that is the meaning is completely different. It's the exact same sentence, but the intonation has completely changed it. One means that I'm in a lot of trouble and I'm not going to be able to go out to have a few beers for a long time, and one means, yeah, she's totally fine with that and she's happy, okay? So you'll notice this, and again, using active listening, what you can do is write out the sentence, listen to the sentence 2 or 3 times, and then what you can do is you can just mark arrows up and down. Think about why the speaker used that intonation, how it changes the meaning, how it conveys meaning, and what you can do is you can mimic them. And again, 5 minutes a day is really going to help you. If you can do more, but doing it regularly is really going to help you. And many of you might be thinking, like, okay, so I really love this TV show. So my other favorite TV show would be The Sopranos. If somebody told me to pause it and, do all of these things, I'd be like, no, I just want to watch the show. Watch the show first, and then what you can do is do all of those things if you want to enjoy the show and then do your active listening stuff. Okay, so the other thing that is majorly important when we're learning a language is vocabulary. So vocabulary is absolutely essential. It's 25% of your speaking IELTS mark, 25% of your writing mark, but it's also a huge part of listening and reading. Most people who can't get above a 7 for listening and reading, it's not just their listening skills, it's a lack of vocabulary. So we really want to improve our vocabulary if we want to improve our IELTS scores or just improve our English in general. So you don't have to understand everything. Something that puts people off when they're learning a language, especially at the beginning stage, so the elementary stage, the pre-intermediate stages, they find it very difficult when they hear words or phrases they don't understand. They feel completely lost. We don't want to discourage you from continuing with your learning. We want to just help you get through that initial stage. So the best advice I can give you is you will never understand every word or phrase. Get comfortable not understanding everything, all right? So if you have that sort of attitude that, okay, there's some words and phrases I don't understand, but that's fine, all right? And that every word and phrase that you do not understand is an opportunity for you to expand your vocabulary. So even in the IELTS listening test, Even students who get a band 9, there are some words and phrases in the listening test that they don't understand. You do not have to understand every word. Secondly, when you hear a word or phrase you don't understand in a TV show, again, just pause it, or if you're using your phone or computer, pause it or whatever, and guess from the context what that word actually means. So, obviously, the words around it, the sentences around it will help you guess the meaning of that word, but also if you're watching a TV show, just the context that the characters are in, the situation that they're in, will help you guess the meaning. Why is that important? Well, as an English learner, you're going to have to guess meaning all the time, because there will be words that come up that you do not understand. And guessing the meaning is really, really going to help with your comprehension of any conversation that's going on, or if you're in a lecture hall, whatever, or in the IELTS listening test. So when you have guessed the meaning from context, write down that new word or phrase. Get a special book. So I advise all of my IELTS students to buy a brand new book. You know, it can just be a cheap $1, $2 book, but that's your vocabulary book. And when you hear a new word or phrase, write the word or phrase down in your vocabulary book and write things beside it that will help you remember it. So meaning, synonyms, antonyms, collocations, example sentences, pronunciation, anything that you need that will help you, pictures, whatever, anything that's going to help you remember that word. So then you review that. So say you learn 10 words in each episode. So 10 new words, 10 new phrases. The average TV series is like 10 episodes, 12 episodes long. So by the end of a series, you will have 100 new words, 150 new words, if you just learn around 10 words an episode or 10 phrases. That is a huge number of words. You might not think in the context of the English language that 100 words is going to really make a difference to you, but it really will. Imagine you do that over a year or 2 years, how much that is going to help you improve your vocabulary. So make sure that when you are watching a TV show, just note down any words that you're not sure of and expand your vocabulary in that way. It's a really, really powerful technique. Finally, obviously listening is really going to help improve our listening skills. So accents. A lot of students complain that I don't understand this accent, I don't understand that accent. Okay, so the only way that you're going to really understand those accents is to tune into them and get used to them. So on the IELTS listening test, you might get an Australian, a New Zealander, a South African, someone like me from Ireland, someone from Scotland, someone from Wales, or any part of the hundreds of different accents that there are in the British Isles or America. You're going to have to get used to that. Also in real life, imagine you're going to work in a hospital as a doctor, or you are going to university at an international university. There will be hundreds of different accents you have to get used to. Listening to TV shows, movies is going to help you with that. Connected speech, as we mentioned here, it is going to help you recognize connected speech and is going to help you comprehend conversations far more easily if you get used to that. Intonation, so you will be able to recognize the different types of intonation and recognize how they are conveying meaning. Very, very important, especially when you're in a relationship, like a working relationship, a student-teacher relationship, any sort of, friends or whatever. It's really, really important that you understand the different meaning, that intonation, the difference it can make, okay, especially when you're having those conversations with people. Signposting language, where people indicate where they're going in the conversation, that's really, really important. And prolonged listening. I was speaking to a student today actually, and they got a band 5 in listening the first time, and after a month they went from a band 5 to a band 7.5 in listening. And I asked them, can you share any helpful tips with students to help them with their listening? And they said basically it was they had never listened for a very, very long time to English before they went into the IELTS test, and they said it was kind of like learning meditation. It is kind of like you have to focus for so long. So the reading test is going to be an hour, the speaking test you're going to have to speak for 15 minutes, writing test you're going to have to write for an hour. most students are just not used to doing those things for prolonged periods of time until they do the IELTS test. So getting used to listening to a lot of English over a prolonged period of time is really, really important if you want to do well on the IELTS test. And if you want more help with the IELTS test, go to my website, IELTSadvantage.com. I'm going to be making more videos like this. I'm going to try and do a few videos a week, so hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit the like button and it's more likely to show up on your feed later. Hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.